Hey guys, Parker Farrison with Farrison Lawn Care. Today I wanted to take a quick second to talk to you guys about what we should be expecting as we head into springtime. Now, springs are right around the corner and naturally the grass is going to start greening up, the flowers are blooming, the birds are chirping, winter annual weeds are starting to rear their ugly heads if they already haven't already, and that means violets are on their way. Now, when I say violets, I almost want us to separate in your mind wild violets and the rest of the broadleaf weeds. So the first thing I want to stress to you guys is if you have violets, you've got to be very patient for two particular reasons, but we'll get into that in a second. Wild violets are a perennial bunch type weed that tends to like cool, shady, damp microclimates in your lawn. Now don't let that fool you because they can live anywhere in the lawn, but they tend to have a better habitat in cool, shady, damp areas. Now don't get me wrong, violets can be very beautiful, but in my neck of the woods and for my customers, they're nothing but a nuisance. So if you've got violets, you probably already know that you've got violets. Violets are the weed that have the heart-shaped or spade-like shaped foliage on it about the size of a quarter that will bloom a blue or purple flower in the spring and fall. Don't let violets get you confused with ground ivy or creeping Charlie. They tend to grow together sometimes, but they're completely different broadleaf weeds. If you've already talked to the office or an existing customer, or you're going to talk to the office and potentially become a customer, they're going to tell you that we don't control violets. And they're not totally wrong. It's very, very, very difficult for us to control violets for two main reasons. The first reason, and probably most importantly, is the timing in which the application is even effective. When that flower is blooming, early spring and late fall, is the only time the plant is succulent and absorbing the weed control that we put down. So there's a reason I wanted to separate regular broadleaf weeds and violets. So when we mix our tanks for broadleaf weed control, we put in an industry standard 3-way herbicide that helps take care of a wide variety of broadleaf weeds. But sometimes that weed control just isn't enough for certain weeds. So we mix on top of that with a specialty herbicide to help combat that certain times of the year. Early spring and late fall, when that flower is blooming, is the only time our weed controls are even effective for violets. In the summertime, they will build a waxy coat on the foliage called the cuticle layer. And that is basically a defense mechanism to help hold in moisture to withstand the summer stress. Violets are a perennial type weed, which means it's very difficult to control. It doesn't have the same life cycle the rest of the broadleaf weeds do. The other big reason violets are very difficult is because of the hardy tuber root system underneath the surface of the ground. The structure of the root system is such that it's very difficult for weed controls to actually get down to that root system to actually kill the plant. All we're really able to ever do is, over the course of a few years, we're able to combat the violet over time and sends the foliage back. But that root system is still very active. So if you guys got any questions, please give us a call at the shop, 502-245-9422. I'm Parker with Farrison Lawn Care.